Now, rather, I'm sorry. Congressman, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, you bet. It's good to be here. Thanks.
It's great to have you, of all people, here today, but it is a tough, difficult day, and it feels like this is the gambit on the part of Juan Guaido. If he's saying this is the final phase, then it seems like it better work out. How do you see it going?
And I fully agree with you. This is a moment today, and however long this whole process lasts, that I think in 10 years we'll look back on and say this turned Central Latin America one way or the other. So if this fails, ultimately, I think you're going to see strongmen and the left basically take hold in Central and South America, because keep in mind, Nicaragua, we have the same situation going on. There's elections all over the place too, where there's left-wing candidates and conservative candidates. Or this is going to be when people look back and say, this was an extension of freedom taking hold in Central and South America. And look, Venezuela used to be the richest country in South America, and now they're among the poorest. People are starving. They're eating rats. That's what socialism does. People have stood up and said, we have a legitimately elected president, Juan Guaido, not Maduro, and they're going to take their country back.
Congressman, you're talking, though, about a military with 3,000 generals and admirals. We have about 900 that are well-paid, that are well-positioned, and really living a pretty good life compared to the countrymen. How does an uprising work if the military is with the dictator in charge without any outside support? And, you know, you talk about the entire region and this being perhaps something, a flashpoint. You know, do we go back to the spirit of the Monroe Doctrine? What do we do as a country? What are we willing to do to make sure that this is successful?
I think we have to make sure it's successful, and I'm going to tell you why. You mentioned the Monroe Doctrine. This is our hemisphere. For a long time, we ignored our hemisphere the last couple of decades. We have the military for a purpose, and if that purpose is not to intervene and make a difference in our hemisphere, then in some cases it's difficult to see what that's for. The Russians have intervened in Venezuela. Cuba has, in some estimates, close to 25,000 troops there.
Hold on, we're going to dip into John Bolton.